Hello, everybody. It's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English Podcast, the podcast where you learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, 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 everybody. Another day, another chance to learn English. And today, I've got a special episode for you guys because we've got a beautiful guest, an amazing guest today. His name is Sergey Yagodin. He's from Volgograd. And he's a guy with a big list of things. So he's an NLP trainer, interpreter, an English teacher, the master of communication, and psychologist. Hello, 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 Serge. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's a new experience for me.
Awesome. So how is Volgograd doing today? Is it fine?
Yeah, nice weather today. No, it's not sunny, but pretty warm. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, Serge, before we dive in, many of our listeners struggle with confidence when they speak in English. How did you discover that NLP could actually help with that? And what you've got, what got you started on this path in general? Can you just share a little knowledge for a starter?
Well, I'm struggling with speaking English right now, and what I'm using is actually there is an NLP a technique related to anchors when you kind of remember the states where you felt resourceful, and then that changes your general state and emotions right now. And for that, I'm using an anchor that I have on my hand, right? And there is an anchor for the states that I anchored it to my hand. Like for this one, I use openness, right? When I want to feel more open with people, like right now, for example, I want to start speaking more openly, or more in a more relaxed way, or in a more confident way, or with more alive, right? Or feel it like a playful thing. So I have it anchored to this motion here. It's kind of magical motion that I did before, and now it's anchored to this. So every time I do this, there's a little bit of that openness comes, a little bit of playfulness with each of this kind of magical move I'm doing with my hand. But I did that before, so now I can just fire it up, and a little bit of that feeling trickles into the conversation already through my state. So yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
one
should
of the
I
things.
use my hand as well? Should I use my hand as well? So if I want to be
Okay,
open, am I right? I just need to open my hand?
well, all right, we can go right into practice then. So, what feeling or what state would be important for you to feel like in the near future, maybe in a conversation with a person? Confidence, playfulness, relaxation. What would you like to feel? Like what state would be nice for you?
Oh, I want to feel like so good. Like we just started, so I just want to relax because I feel a little bit stressed.
Relax, right? So one of the things I use is a very simple anchor like this, right? I have a relaxed anchor right here, but you don't
Just
have it yet. And now we can
okay.
try a very quick meditation, all right? For you to
Yeah.
anchor it to this kind of movement. You can, if you want,
Right.
you can close your eyes or just remember where you feel most relaxed in life. I don't know, maybe you're taking a hot
Okay.
bath, or you're hugging a person you love, or I don't know, hugging a cat. Where do you feel relaxed?
I remember myself when I was in America. So I was sitting in the kitchen and I was cooking something and I was listening some type of music. It was amazing, and I felt kind of relaxed inside. And I think I would dance there as well. Like I had danced as well.
All right. So let's play with that a little bit. Can you just close your eyes for a moment, not for long, and just remember that feeling when you were there in America, and try to
Okay.
put yourself in that picture as if it's happening right now. And as
All
you're putting
right.
yourself into that environment, try to remember that feeling of being relaxed and just sitting there.
Yeah. Okay.
On the scale from 0 to
Kinda.
huh?
Kinda. Okay. I'm connecting to it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So on the scale from 0 to 10, where is your relaxation right now? At 3, 4,
Uh I guess 7?
7?
Something
Okay,
like
so
that.
that's pretty high, right? If
Yeah.
this feeling of relaxation had place in your body, where would that be? Like the center of it?
The center of relaxation feeling?
Yeah, like where is it coming from your body? Maybe your
Probably the chest area.
the
The chest
chest,
area
right?
right here.
Just focus
Yeah.
on your chest right now for a moment. All right. And if this feeling of relaxation had a color, what color would that be?
Oh, that would be like, a greenish color. It's not like super green, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's like a pale green color, something like this.
All right. And now what I wanted to do is just touch the fingers the way I showed it to you earlier.
Like this, I
Yeah, yeah,
guess.
yeah. And hold it for a moment and feel that
All right.
greenish color in your chest emanating
Yeah.
through your whole body.
Okay.
And you're in America
All
right
right.
now. So let's just return back. Okay, you can just come back. All right.
Can I open my
Yeah,
eyes,
you
right?
open that. Yeah,
I
yes,
should.
open
I
your eyes.
should.
All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so the way it works. Remember Pavlov's dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes, like very much more relaxed right now. It's like you're a little bit
Yeah.
sleepy, still there a little, right? So what
Yeah.
Pavlov did
Dizzy a
is
bit.
what?
Dizzy a bit, I
A
guess.
little bit dizzy. That's a little quick meditation. Like you're here, but physically in your space, but mentally and your body, like the chemistry changes at that moment. And what you're doing is you're kind of like what we call in NLP is anchoring. This is
All right.
I believe in English like conditional reflex. All right. What did Pavlov do?
Okay.
Every time he fed the dog, before that he just maybe rang a bell, right? Or he stroked the dog or something like the same action every time. And so after some time, that ring of the bell became the anchor. So he rings the bell, and the dog wants to eat right now, right? So now you have this little anchor over here. Every time you find yourself in a little stressful situation, you can do that and see what happens. All right. So that's the basic technique that can be used to kind of uh you can feel like you can kind of charge that anchor more and more. You can catch yourself in real situations in life when you feel good, and just every time when you feel good, touch this. All right. And then next time when you find yourself in a situation that requires you to feel more relaxed, you just do that and see what happens. All right. Most
Cool. Okay.
most brightly you will feel the difference when you are not relaxed and then you touch and then you feel relaxed. Because if you're right now, like for example, you're more or less relaxed already, we're just having a nice conversation, then you touch it and you feel a little difference because you're not stressed
Yeah.
right now, right? But when you do feel
Yeah.
stressed and you touch that, and that's the anchor, like the Pavlov's dog, boom, your body
Yeah.
remembers that basic chemistry inside. And that's one of the things that can be done. It's one of the most basic things that NLP teaches like in its first course whenever you start learning it. So we can go back to
Okay.
your first question because it was kind of loaded. There were some things there I'm sure I haven't answered yet.
Right.
So
I would answer it again. So we just already discussed the NLP technique, right? But what is your storyline, right? How had it all started, right? Had started at first, right? What did you do back in the days, right? How did you come to this point where you are an NLP master, the translator, interpreter, whatever, English teacher? So how had it all started?
it started with Tony Robbins, I think. When I was about 20 years old.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins, this motivational speaker, if somebody doesn't know. So I was, I don't know, maybe 20 or so, and I was watching him speak. And I was learning English a little bit, so I could kind of enjoy him speaking in English. And I thought, wow, I want to be that. I want to talk to people on the stage, right? But I thought, okay, before teaching people success, I'd better kind of become successful myself and start a business or start something, become somebody, right? Before just going on the stage and teach that. Like, little did I know, I could have just started learning psychology and doing that, but I found uh, a more interesting way for myself. I decided to master English and open my English school. And it took me years, and I kind of went through that process. I never kind of hired other people for my school, but I did find myself after several years being a teacher in my own office, having my own private practice, right? But I always wanted to be a psychologist. I wanted to understand myself. I wanted to understand people better. And then I started communicating with people and finding, okay, I want to do better with any kind of people, with women, with men, with people in general, with children. I used to be afraid of children. They're strange. I don't know what to do with them, right? So I just want to communicate better and understand myself better and people. And so one of the courses I took back in the day was about coaching. Another was about how to meet girls. And then another one, I found NLP. And I was like, wow, that's profound. The way, like, some of the things are very simple, like the what we did right now. And some of the things are very deep there. All right. And I stuck with that course. I started taking it for myself, but then I understood, wow, that's Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins actually is NLP trainer as well. He used to be, at least in the past. That's his background. That's his basic background. If you read his first books, the terms he uses there are from NLP. All right. And so I started, okay. And it took me another 7 or 8 years to like start teaching. And now I've been teaching NLP for 3 or 4 years with a partner. And for the last like a year and a half, I started my own group. So I'm still kind of growing on this path.
You said a lot about the profound idea. Can you just give a little comment on this? So what was profound word is based on, right? So profound, what does it mean for our English learners?
Well, that's
right?
that's
trying
for
to get something.
That is meant not more like for English learners. That's more about understanding your deep psychology. Like I used to think like I'm different from my parents, for example. I have my own story.
Yeah.
But then there are some deep techniques that NLP specialists modeled from psychotherapists. And when you go through those ones, you kind of understand, wow, I'm a freaking android. The programs that were put into me at 3 years old, I just replicate at 10 years old, at 15, at 20. It's kind of it's just an infinite cycle of repeating the same mistake or success. It depends on what was in there originally. And it's like, oh my God, I'm a freaking robot. Okay, how do I change that? And that's what I found, what I'm calling profound. Like when you want to go deep into the rabbit hole. Could be dangerous sometimes, but
Cool.
It's worth it. It's worth it if you're doing it with the right person. So that's what I meant.
Am I right that when you're saying that NLP is a pretty profound idea, it's like more serious, right? You can go very deep into it, right? So kind of going deeper in life in general, right?
In general, yeah, it taught me how to understand myself much deeper, who I am, what I am. So NLP is one of the big ways you can use, one of the big points of use that you can use to understand yourself better. There are different points still, like, for example, through meditation, through, I don't know, talking to a philosophy teacher, etc. And one of those big ways is NLP for me. And I learned a lot of how this basic organism, body and mind work through NLP, right? So I don't know if you're more interested in how NLP works for English learning, I can share that as well.
Yeah.
Because I understand that's...
Yeah, sure. My exact question would be about that, by the way. So you know that a lot of listeners, they are trying to learn English, right? So they feel stuck, they feel nervous. Maybe that technique, what we had started from, right? That's a good thing to start from, right? If you feel stuck, so just use this anchoring technique and you're going to be okay, right? But I have another question deeper, right? So how exactly NLP helps someone break through in its mindset, technique, or something deeper, right? So maybe you can comment this. Maybe there are more techniques in NLP that can specifically work with the language experience and language development.
That's an interesting... Yeah, I got it. So that's the interesting thing. I was learning NLP and English at the same time. Those paths kind of intertwine. Because one of the best books I found when I was trying to master English, I believe if I translate the name from Russian into English, it's something like A Quick Way to Learn Any Language from English to Japanese. a very long name for the book, and the author is Baitukalov. And that guy, he actually took NLP and applied it to learning languages. And so when I was learning English using his method, it was already based on NLP. And one of the basic things that NLP specialists do, they became masters of modeling, learning from people as models. Like for example, I'll look at you, right? Let's say I see in yourself a good presenter, all right? And so what NLP specialists do, they see somebody, oh, that guy is successful in what he's doing, right? Like, for example, presenting. And then they take a pen and a piece of paper and they kind of write down each important detail that this guy is doing to present well. And NLP specialists do interviews. They go inside the mindset of that model in order to understand what do they believe when they speak about themselves, about the people, about the world. And that changes the state. And so, but in the first very simple application of modeling is when you, for learning a language, you start a video, for example, a TV show, right? And after each phrase of the person, of the actor on the screen, you push the pause button and you just repeat after them whatever they say in the exact tone, in the exact emotion, in the exact kind of, you can even repeat their actions, whatever they're doing with their hands, all right? Like if an actor says to another actress, I love you, darling. And then you just push and you, I love you, darling. And just repeat exactly the way they do it. And it just go through minutes and minutes, hours and hours of videos like that. And then after some time, you just become like them. It's like basic thing that we do is kind of using this mirror neurons, right, in our heads to copy other people, to copy a person that we want to learn something from. And so that's a very simple way to put it. There are some details in there, but the basic technique is just be them instead of like, I want to speak English. That's one thing, right? Or I want to be able to speak English. That's a little bit higher, right? I want to have this skill. But then you can say, I'm a frigging American. I'm American. And you just look at the screen and you just repeat after them. I am this person who's living this life in this movie. And you just kind of live together with this person through this movie. And so it's just
Awesome.
a different level of kind of changing your mindset. What is your mindset? If you think I'm a Russian English learner, that's one mindset.
Russian English
Right?
learner.
That's one mindset. If you're saying I'm American, I just forgot English a little bit. Maybe something hit my head. I forgot English, and now I'm just remembering it. But originally, I am American. I'm an American. So I had even like when I was learning English, I had like a picture of a little American flag that I drew myself. And there I wrote, I'm an American. I know 12,000 words because according to Baitukalov, 12,000 words is where nativeness starts. And so I just put that on my wall and that was my icon. That was my God for 2.5 years until I mastered English to a level that I felt comfortable start work as a translator. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a lot of content you just pushed, Thank you, man. That's, what it reminds me? You know what it reminds me a lot? It's shadowing, You just described the shadowing technique, what people use. Yeah. I was a big fan of AJ Hoke. You've heard of this name a lot, probably. So AJ Hoke, he used the same method, actually, right? The shadowing, when you copy the behavior of someone else. That's exactly the NLP stuff, right?
Shadowing, specifically this term, comes from, I guess, learning languages field. At least this is where this particular term I heard, like from language learning community, from AJ Hoke, for example, from other, like from Zametkin, a Russian teacher, etc. And thing is about shadowing, it's great, and I used it, and I recommend it highly. Thing is, like, reality has different levels of richness of its information. Like, for example, if you read a text, That's one level, right? You don't have the sound there, you don't have intonation, you don't have the picture, nothing. Like it's one level, right? Then you go higher, then
Yep.
you take an audiobook or an audio dialogue. That level is much deeper, it's much richer because you also have the text, you have the audio. So like at each second, at each moment, you're getting more information, right? But then you can go even higher. You can go to the video and you can shadow actors and their movements and you kind of pace them, right? There's in NLP, we call it pacing, right? You pace the person, you become like them, right? You mirror them like a little monkey, like a little kid. You're just playing around with that. So, and the thing is, when you have this visual material in front of your head, in front of your eyes, you can go like whole body experience. All right. And that's why I still use shadow. I still use text, like I read, right? Shadowing is amazing. I do it like whenever I have to give a speech in English or talk to somebody, like to you, for example, today, I did use shadowing to warm up to speak English, right? So because I don't have a daily practice of speaking English, I did use shadowing. But then if you want to go even higher, even more effective, then you can shadow the video. And yeah, in the terms of language learning, modeling using a video would be shadowing a video, I guess. Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we can call it a day for this term. So look,
right.
first of all, I want to say, I want to compliment. Look, I want to compliment your English speaking practice. Look,
right.
You're doing amazing job here, right? So, and it's so comfortable to hear you. And I feel like this American-ish accent, it's so good. I like it as well.
Yeah, and by the way, you know
it.
By the way, you know it, but the listeners might not. Like, they don't, actually. I never traveled outside of Russia. This is the way I speak.
Wow.
And I never traveled outside of Russia, right? This is, I'm a live proof that this method works. So
awesome. You know, like many people believe that it's not possible to learn the language if you haven't traveled somewhere, but you are the exact proof that destroys this whole idea, you know. That's so
proof,
good.
The living proof. Right.
You're cool, man. Okay, let's dive into the next one. Look, maybe you can share us a story about your client or about your maybe a student or someone who you've been teaching to NLP or you've been mentoring. Just how that had changed this person's life, you know, maybe something had changed and you were kind of surprised about it, right? Because, you know, you are as a mentor, as a teacher, as a person who is looking at the person, you can see this move or transformation from 0 point to something, right? Maybe you can share a story that kind of surprised you, you know, a bit.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of surprising stories, actually. I don't remember all of them. I'm just trying to choose what to share. Right? And on the top of my head are, of course, stories on top of my mind. Yeah, I don't speak English often enough. But anyway, stories about where I change people's state related to their English speaking, right? And one of the stories is when I had a student who, whenever he spoke English, he's stumbled, right? He's just he was very nervous whenever he spoke English, right? And in NLP, we have this thing that is called visual submodalities. So whatever you have, whatever concept you have in your mind is kind of put in there in a certain way, for example, as a picture. Like, for example, right now, like if you could think, like, for example, of a picture of, let's say, an orange. Where in front of you would it be? Like, where would it pop up? Picture of an orange.
Orange? Okay, maybe the grocery store?
Yes, but where do you see that picture? Like, where do you see the orange? Like, for example, if I think of an orange, it's somewhere right here as a picture.
In the basket? Oh, okay.
Yeah, as a picture.
Right
where
here.
would you see
in front of me?
Here, there, or here? Like, where would it be? It's a stupid
maybe
question.
Somewhere on the right.
Still.
A bit right. I guess somewhere from the right side. No, not a center, right? But somewhere on the right side.
Can you reach it? How far away is it from you?
About my hand length, I guess.
You can touch it, right?
Yeah.
Do you like oranges?
Yeah, of course.
Or not?
I'm not a big fan, but I do like them.
That's why I just
Not
asked.
love.
That's why I just asked. For most people, oranges are right here. Like for me, I love oranges. It's very close to me. I don't need to
Okay.
extend my hand, like extend my arm towards it. But you have to extend it. But you still could touch it. It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any food that you really enjoy? Any fruit,
Of course.
whatever. Any
Oh, my
dish?
fiance,
Yeah.
she likes to cook. She likes to cook the like kebabs, but it's a homemade kebab. It's
If there
so
was a
good.
kebab just
She
in
can.
front of you, where would it just pop up right now?
Oh, it's right here. It's
You
already
see?
in my mouth,
That's
man. It's right
crazy.
here.
That's crazy. Like the picture, where would it pop up? It's just like here, like that's. And so this is how
Right.
our mind kind of puts it in there, like deciphers or encrypts. This is how our mind encrypts different attitudes toward different things, right? So that was just a little demonstration. Like if I think about food that I don't like for example, the Russian holodets. It's frozen fats, basically,
Holodets.
with meat, right? I hate it. I don't like it.
Grease.
Somewhere here, somewhere there, right? The picture's there, all right? So,
No. It's far away, man. It's the next
yeah, I
station. Maybe
can't even
another
reach it,
city out of
right? You can't even reach it.
Right.
So, just a simple, silly example with food. But then, I'm working with this guy, and he's like very nervous and stumbling while speaking English. And I know he's been learning English all his life. He knows a lot, but he's just not relaxed enough for this. And I just told him, listen, Vladimir, right? His name is Vladimir. Okay? If you imagined yourself speaking Russian right now, where would that picture pop up? And I don't remember what he said. Let's say here. Okay, just look at yourself
Right.
speaking Russian there. What do you look like there? Well, I don't know. Just relax, speaking Russian. Fine. All right. Okay. And then where would the picture of you speaking English pop up? Oh, it's over there. What do you look like there? Well, that picture is smaller, it's dimmer, not that bright, and it's I can barely touch it, like if I extend my arm. And I said, okay, let's play around with that. Okay. And this picture of him speaking Russian was bigger, brighter, 3D, etc. I said, could you move that picture from here, in your mind? Just invite this picture over here. He just moves that. Can you make it brighter? Like imagine there's like a little dial there, just brighter. And there was 2D, make it 3D. Boom. It's 2D. And now he's looking at himself there in this picture where he's speaking English with the submodalities the same as he's speaking Russian. And then we kind of integrated that. If you could take that picture back inside your body, and you're in there, and you're like speaking English, but with the same feeling as if you're speaking Russian. Boom.
Wow.
Okay.
Submodality, you said, right? Can we simplify it or like exchange or no, not exchange, like can we replace the word with something more simple?
Yeah.
Submodality?
I would say, I guess, a feature, right? A
A feature.
picture has different qualities, like size.
Yeah.
That's one submodality, one feature. Like brightness.
Uh-huh.
That's another. Like if you were a photographer, you would know all of the details, right? All of those details. So some submodalities, and a fancy word. Yeah, thank you for asking me to do
Can
that.
I say, by the way, can I ask you this thing? Can I use this word if I speak to a girl and I say, hey, look, you don't have enough submodalities for myself, right?
if she's
You know, when I
NLP,
remember myself.
your submodalities are not perfect for me. I'm sorry. Oh, I love your submodalities, right? The color of your hair is
your
exactly
submodalities.
yeah, the color of your hair is exactly the way I like it. Yeah, actually, that's how I'm gonna finish that story later, but so that's how our when people say I have a type of a person I like, right? If I can fall in love. Certain height, certain color of hair or eyes, and those are anchors. Usually that's a person who maybe looks like mother or father, and that's a person who they fell in love first in life. That becomes a strong anchor for them, and that anchor has certain submodalities, right? Certain color of eyes, height, etc. All of those features, and then you just keep falling in love with the same kind of person. All right. And when person says, I don't have a type, we got like really like maybe you don't know that you do, or you feel like you want to be special, and you are special if you're wise enough. Of course, you can expand that. Like, why would I be like a Pavlov's dog, falling in love with the same kind of person all the time? Like, I want to look at other people. There are other beautiful people out there. So, coming back to the story with Vladimir, he was like, boom, I'm speaking English as if it's Russian, and it just relaxes. And when we finished with him, he said, okay, Sergey, just I got to do something. He found an audio, turned it on, and started listening to it in English. There was a podcast. It's like, Sergey, what the heck? I can understand it like 30%, like subjectively feeling. I can understand what they're saying 30% better. It's like in his subjective experience. What the heck did you just do? And I said, this is NLP. All right. So, well,
My
so that was
boy, that's an
that was
NLP.
one of the stories, but there are lots of therapeutic stories when, for example, a mother comes and she wants to like do something to my child. Then we do something to her, and there's no problem with the child anymore. So in one session,
Wow.
this is why I like NLP so much, is that most of the time you do one session, boom, problem solved. All right. It doesn't mean you can't solve more problems and continue it as a regular experience. But whatever problem you come, specific one, most of the time we can help you to a certain degree or to a complete degree right here, right now. It's not like, oh my God, you got to do a 2-year therapy, which is a good thing too, to do a 2-year therapy if you need to. But NLP has a goal. Right now, right here in this session, we need a quick result, at least some quick result. And sometimes, very often, whenever I do a technique with a person, and they come with one state like, ugh, I don't like that, I don't know what to do, and then what? There was a problem. I love that feeling. It feels like magic every time. So, and I like feeling like a magician with them this way. But and again, any magic is magic until you understand. Oh, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this. Like with learning English, when you model a native speaker, they do so many things at the same time. But when you see those details and copy and model them, it becomes you become magical as them.
Wow. That's amazing. Look. So, this is a beautiful story, Serge. Thank you very much. So, I have my own story as well. I just want to have a little consultation here on live, I guess, right? So, let's do it together. Imagine the student, right? And this student is kind of okay, she wants to work very hard, but the problem is she can't progress at all. She's like feeling the plateau for a while. So I'm guessing that it's not the problem with the system we're using, it's the problem of the mental state or her psychological state that happens, right? What do you think? Can you give us a little, let's say, advice maybe? What would you implement right away as an NLP master and as a psychologist, right? If the person is facing this wall, maybe it's the wall of being scared. Maybe it's the wall of something else. So maybe you can give us a little advice here.
Well, first of all, I gotta say that plateaus are fine. It's part of the
Okay.
process, and the longer you go, the deeper you go into learning languages, the longer those plateaus become. You just gotta understand that at the end of that plateau, usually it's like a awakening, right? Like AJ Hoke says, like there's a plateau, and then sometimes like you're almost have given up, right? Like what the heck? I don't see the progress. I don't feel it, right? And then one day you just wake up and you just talk to somebody. It's like boom, wow, I understand more. I can talk. I can express more. What the heck just happened? What happened is that 3 months prior, you were gathering that momentum. Your mind was soaking in slowly to make that kind of jump, you know? So, what we
So
expect.
momentum is the jump, right? Momentum is the jump. Sorry for disturbing. Momentum is this jump, right? It's like the pushing force that kind of pushes you forward.
Well, you're gathering momentum. It's like, I mean, you're gathering information, and then when you have enough momentum, something clicks, and you know,
So momentum is an energy, right? It's like the mental, physical, some kind of energy, right? It pushes you, right?
right, right. So, thing is, we are usually expecting like this gradual progress, right? Like at least this way, maybe not that way. Like that's what we would love, like boom, like this, right? Usually it goes like that, right? At least this way we're fine with. Goes slightly up, but what in reality happens? The progress is when you first start learning English, like the progress is very fast. You didn't know any words, you know one word, boom, that's from 0 to 1. That's infinity, right? But then you know 1,000 words, and you know one more word. It's like, what's the difference, right? And so what happens in reality is that at some point you start reaching plateaus. You know 1,001 words, no difference. 1,002 words, no difference. To make a real difference, you got to gather up at least maybe 200 so that you could feel the difference. So, right? At first, 200 felt like, oh my God, that's a different universe. I just learned from 0 to 200, right? But then you just reach, and then let's say you know 10,000 words. Then to feel the difference, you need 2,000 words to feel the difference. And then the plateau is even longer, right? And then you gotta see what the reality of this particular person. What are their talents? Maybe they're not using the right way for themselves, or maybe they're pushing themselves too hard, right? For young people, it's very easy, like much easier for older people to learn anything new, right? And then you get what we say in NLP, you got to chunk down, make it very simple. I have a beautiful story about that if we have time, about chunking down.
Yeah, we have just yeah. Go ahead.
There was an amazing psychotherapist, a hypnotist, right? He was working with hypnotherapy, Milton Erickson. And one time, a person came to him, a woman, about, I don't know, maybe 40 years old. And she was a very simple rural kind of person. And back in the day, not everybody could even read or write, right? And she came to him and said, okay, Mr. Erickson, I can't learn how to read and write. And I just want to. But whenever I start learning with somebody, I feel nervous. I feel stupid. I've had so many teachers, nobody can teach me. I can't do it. And he said, okay, no problem. And then he started chunking down. What he did with her, okay, lady, he gave her a blank piece of paper. And he said to her, can you do something, by the way, an NLP book? Just imagine a blank piece of paper, maybe
Hey,
here,
hey,
right?
we're with English rules here, right? So we're
Sorry.
trying to push English.
All right. So the thing is, he took a pen or a pencil to her, gave it to her, and said, "Can you do like that?" Said, "Yeah, of course." She did like that, and said, "This is your homework for this week. Next time you come, bring me 2 or 3 pieces of paper with this. Okay, just full like
Okay.
piece of
With
paper filled out
stitches,
with that."
right? This little.
And she's like, "Okay, strange therapist, but if it's my homework, I'll do that." So in a week she came and I said to her, "Okay, great. Can you now do like that?" She said, "Yeah, of course. Jing, 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 jing. Great. Okay." And I said, "Wow, this is the letter P." She said, "Wow, what? Did I write the letter? Never did that before." So through a slow
Okay.
progress of that, he started teaching her little, more letters. And one day he got her to write a word, and he said to her, "This is your name." She said, "Wow, I wrote my name? I never did that before." It's like, so this
Wow.
is chunking down. So whenever, like, one of the things, if the person feels the plateau, right? Maybe they're pushing themselves too hard. Maybe they got to take some steps back and start with the basic things. I don't know. It's very individual, especially the rate of the progress, very individual for a person. And as a teacher, I got to be very patient. I got to be slow the heck down, right? So and that's my job as a teacher, and that's not always easy. I had to learn that, how to do that.
Absolutely. Wow. That's
And you as a
beautiful,
teacher must
Serge.
understand
Thank
that,
you
of
so
course, as
much.
well. So
That was a beautiful story, first of all, and I think we've gathered plenty of stuff today, and it was a pleasure to listen and pleasure to learn from you. And I like this approach of imagining the situation closer or further. I really like this approach. Maybe I will use it with my teacher as well, or with my students as well. And it was a pleasure. Thank you all. Thank you for all your job you've done today with us. And I
Daniel,
hope
thank
to
you
see
for
you
this
very soon.
conversation. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. It was an amazing discussion with Serge. If you want to contact Serge right away, so we have his links down below. Please go there and contact Serge if you're looking for a psychologist or you're interested in NLP. He will give you all uh, deep answers, right? If you're curious. And that's all for today. So let's stay in touch and have an amazing day with English learning. And remember, if you learn the language, do it effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. And it was me here, Daniel. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.